CMO, which is Papa Ka business at Supreme Petrochemicals. We are a chemical trading firm. And I'm also the CMO at Active Scientific Company, which is a partnership. So we manufacture different products. The crypto and blockchain talks. I'm going to talk about I've been associated with blockchain. So I've been a published author. I've written a book on blockchain and its applications, education. It was in 2017. So because of that book, I've gained quite a bit of traction because people really liked me. I was 20 years old back then, and people really liked a 20-year-old coming out with a book. And so I've been getting a lot of work since then. I've written 300 plus articles. I've been a spokesperson with respect to crypto and blockchain for the last 3-4 years. There's a lot of websites that written articles for. And I've been associated with blockchain for the last 7 years. Okay, let's dive in. So blockchain, right? You guys would have heard both sides of the coin. Like blockchain is going to change the world for the good. Blockchain is this, blockchain is that. Like Shubham just gave a one-hour talk about how blockchain is. Metaverse is going to use blockchain to revolutionize entertainment as we know it. So that's just one of the applications of what a blockchain is going to do. And as Shubham rightly pointed out, this technology is evolving every day. No one can keep up with what the best of today's knows. So it's going to be a task every day. You're good to go even today. And there's also the other side where blockchain is being deemed as something that's going to make everyone's life worse. Like, why do you need a metaverse? It's going to make everyone lazy. So the arguments go both ways. So I'm going to try and I'm going to see if I can give you a good perspective of both sides. Okay, let me start with telling you what I'm not going to do. And Paatshala, you're in for a surprise. I'm not going to give any investment advice. Please don't come and ask me how to double your money because that is not what I'm going to do. That is not what I do. I'm not going to tell you to go on any project. I'm going to try my best to be as simple as possible. I'm going to try to ignore jargons, try to ignore big words. But there will be some that I'll try to get if I realize. These are the stuff that I'm going to do. I'm going to assume all of you have a limited understanding of what accounts and what economics are. Because those concepts really help in understanding what blockchain is. I'm going to tone down on concepts. Again, I'm going to try to ignore all jargons and all fancy definitions. Okay, so before moving forward, I get this question a lot. Right? When I tell people I bought my first Bitcoin in 2015, the question usually goes, how did you know about it? Like how did you start so early? How did you figure out that Bitcoin is going to hold value? Honestly, I had no idea Bitcoin was going to hold any value. I just did it because I was passionate about one project. I'm sure all of you recognize this. It's Wikipedia, right? The internet's source of all knowledge, fake and otherwise. And back when I was 13 or 14, Wikipedia was my home. Like how the game was Shubham's home. Wikipedia was my home. Every day I just be on Wikipedia for like 5 hours straight. Nothing, just on Wikipedia. So at one point I realized, why is Wikipedia doing this, right? Shubham wanted to contribute to his game. He paid $5 for that, whatever it was, for the costume. But what was Wikipedia doing? Wikipedia was giving everything for free, and I wanted to give something back to Wikipedia. So I immediately logged on to the donations page. There was a donations page. It's on the left side. I urge all of you to donate. I logged on to the donations page, and back then there was only one option to pay. Either you have a credit card or you have a debit card, but that wasn't allowed in India because debit cards went fancy back then. You had to convert it to USD and pay. So I went to my dad and inquired about it. I asked him how do I do that. He's like, go to the bank, file a form that you want to do foreign currency transactions, get a debit card, then pay. Then dad is told me just don't do it because why do you want to waste $5? Just keep it to yourself. So I was very dejected, but anyway, I kept using Wikipedia all the time anyway. Then fast forward to 5-6 years later, I was 18, 19, and I logged on to the donations page once again. I just stumbled upon it. I was like, okay, I'll choose that then. Maybe I have a debit card if that works too. So I went in and I saw something like this. This is the current version, but back then it just said donate with Bitcoin. And I was really astonished. Like, what is Bitcoin? I thought I knew a lot of shit back then because I used to read a lot. But then I didn't know what this was. What's Bitcoin? Right, so I immediately Googled Bitcoin, and it's been a downward spiral since then. So what is a blockchain? Let's get to it. Do you guys know what this is? Most of you should know it, right? Some of you will have the profession based on tell you that if you know what this is, you just know credit and debit, you basically know what a blockchain is. That's it. Blockchain is just a glorified ledger, nothing else. What makes it special is that this ledger is distributed among the entire world. Like everyone has a copy of this ledger, everyone can verify the ledger, everyone can log on to the ledger and check their balance, check other people's balance at real time. That's what makes it special. Okay, I'm going to explain how this works in a while. So the core principles of blockchain are these. These are the only fancy words that I'm going to use. Decentralized. Decentralized meaning there is no central authority. Tomorrow the Indian government cannot go and knock on Bitcoin's door because there isn't any door. There is no central office for people, for someone to go and knock on Bitcoin's door and tell no, stop it, don't do it. There's no one because it's decentralized. There is no central authority. The power of the coin or the blockchain depends on how many people use it. So the more people use it, the more powerful it is, the more harder it is to write it out. It's distributed. The ledger that you saw, right? It's distributed among all the people who use Bitcoin, or at least someone who has a Bitcoin node. So a Bitcoin node is something that you just download the entire Bitcoin ledger and you're a Bitcoin node. So it's distributed among all the people who use Bitcoin, and it's globalized. Again, since the internet is globalized, hence blockchain is globalized. The more people use the internet, the more people are going to use blockchain. So that's a simple difference that I want you guys to know. Bitcoin and blockchain are not the same. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, a blockchain is an application. So a simple example that I use is think of Bitcoin as Facebook and the blockchain as the internet. Right? So Facebook runs on the internet. But the internet has thousands and millions and probably billions of other applications too. You can use a Twitter, you can use a Ola, you can use a Google Map, a thousand other applications. Similarly, blockchain is just the tech, the place where you grow a seed. It's the ground, you grow a seed and it becomes Facebook, you grow a seed and it becomes an Ola or something. Blockchain is the application layer, Bitcoin is the app. Okay, so now I'm going to try and give you guys a very hands-on approach of what a blockchain is. So this is a small activity that I'm going to do. I'm going to need 15 volunteers. So can 15 of you raise your hand? Stood up for it? Please, pass it on. 15, fast 15. The others who are sitting nearby try to be try looking in, try copying. Yeah? Little bit. Okay, are we ready, guys? Are we ready? Do 15 of you have a ledger? Yeah? Wait, take it. Okay. So 15 of you have a ledger, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a simple game. I'm going to be the founder of Bitcoin, and you guys are going to be my miners. I'm going to tell you what miners are, but that's how it's going to work. So how it's going to work is I'm going to start with giving myself a couple of coins out of magic. We'll create a few coins out of magic. I'm going to pass it around. And each time I pass it around, I want all 15 of you to track what is going on. Say if out of magic I create 10 Bitcoins and I give 5 to Shubham. I want you guys to note it down. Sudarshan to Shubham. Debit, 15, 15. Okay? It's going to be simple. Okay, so in this game, I'm going to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto was the anonymous person that created Bitcoin. So I'm going to be Satoshi Nakamoto, and I just created this software called Bitcoin Pro, and it's released it on the internet. And I'm making all of you guys use it. So how a blockchain works, or specifically how a Bitcoin blockchain works, is that every 10 minutes, new currency is created. How the new currency is created is that what goes on within the 10 minutes, the transactions that go on within the 10 minutes are verified by someone. Actually, everyone. They're verified by everyone who has Bitcoin. So every 10 minutes, say I do a transaction with Shubham, and Shubham then does it with Ronak Bhaiya does it with Samyukta. So all the transactions are recorded live. It's transparent and it's semi-anonymous. Semi-anonymous being my name is not mentioned, but my wallet ID is mentioned. It could be any 26 character word, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. It could be any one character. But that's what's mentioned. So if you know my wallet ID, you can check my entire wallet history. That makes blockchain entirely transparent. So there are pros and cons to it, but that's nothing we can do. So that makes blockchain entirely transparent. Okay, so every 10 minutes, new currency is created. Right? How that is done is that a miner picks up all the transactions, then he verifies them, saying, does Sudarshan have $10 to give to Samyukta? Does Samyukta have a good wallet? Does Ronak Bhaiya have a good wallet to pass it on to Samyukta? Are they flat? Are they not flat? So it verifies everything. Then it says to the Bitcoin Pro, the Pro software, that this is correct. And then what goes on after that is something incredible and stupid, I don't know how it works, is that the miners are asked to guess a random number. Like all the miners, the transaction is verified by everyone, right? All the miners are asked to guess a very random number. It's a random number. The more number of miners, the more harder is to guess that number. But it takes approximately 10 minutes. And that's why every 10 is people. So say Ronak Bhaiya guesses the correct number. He gets 50 bitcoins. So if it were in 2008, he would have gotten 50 bitcoins. Just because he verified the transaction and guessed the correct number. Every 4 years, that 50 bitcoins goes half. So when it started out it was 50, then after 4 years it was 24. It was 25, after that it was 12.5, after that it was 6.25. Today is, what is it, 3.125. That's what it is today. Every 10 minutes, 3.125 bitcoins are created and they are fresh currency created out of magic. And if you follow the same schedule, it's going to be 1 point some change later on and it's going to keep decreasing, and by approximately 2140, all the bitcoins that are ever going to be created are going to be gone. So let's start the small game. So I created this software, and because there are no transactions to verify, I just verify an empty block. Okay, an empty block, and I gift myself 10 bitcoins. 8 and 10. Now we're going to start this. Okay. Now please make sure to write every single transaction.
How do you want me to write?
So that's what Sudarshan to Shubham 5. Just note that. Easy. This is nothing, it's not a test, you can write it however you want. Okay? Okay, so I'm gonna give 4 bitcoins to Ronak Bhaiya in exchange for his phone. Can you give me your phone? Okay, everyone please note it down. Ronak Bhaiya, please carry on. Do a transaction with someone.
I have to give 4 only, right?
No, up to you. You can give 1, you can give half, you can break the coin.
Two to Pratik.
Yeah, make it a transaction, get something in exchange.
What is his name? Pratik. What? Pratik.
Okay, so Ronak Bhaiya gave 4 bitcoins to?
2 Bitcoin.
2 bitcoins to?
Pratik.
Pratik. Okay. Now I'm gonna give 3 more bitcoins to Bhaiya in exchange for your water bottle. Shreyas Bhaiya in exchange for a water bottle. Okay, this is a transaction. It's a 2 and a pro. Yeah, 3. Okay. Now let's just assume. Let's just assume that the 10 minutes are over. Okay. Now can all of you verify each other that the transactions are correct? You have 3 transactions. We have 3 transactions.
Yes.
Yeah, we have 3 transactions. Does everyone have 3 transactions? Okay. Now I'm guessing. I have a number between 20 and 40. I want someone to guess it. It's in my mind. What is it? What is it? What is this? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?
29.
Did someone say 36?
Yeah,
36. So Shubham said 36 and he gets 10 new bitcoins out of nowhere.
This is very random.
Yeah, it's very random. It's very random, and the best part is the laws of probability make sure that Shubham is not going to be the correct answer for a long. Because 20 to 40 is small number, right? But say today there are a million miners. Okay, a million minor. So the number that we're going to guess is going to be 256 digit longer and maybe even more. So you have to guess 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 256 times. No. 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. No, that's not. 0, 0, 0, 0, 3. No. So maybe Shubham got it today, but probabilistically he will not get it again in his lifetime. That's it. That's how Bitcoin works. It makes sure that the new currency that is created is distributed as equally as possible, as democratically as possible. See, it's not as democratic as we think, because the more computers you have, the more faster you can verify, right? But say you have 10 computers, he has 20, but someone has 100, so he has more chances of verifying the transaction. That's how the game is, and we cannot do anything about it. So you guessed 36, okay, but you don't have a ledger. So you get the ledger. No. And give me a ledger, please. Now I'm going to show you something really cool. This is the block. I've put the transaction, the block that has been verified by Siddharth. So that is verified this block. I'm going to put it in. Okay? And I'm going to go do 2 more transactions. Who else has a ledger? Okay, please. I'm giving 4 bitcoins to Samyukta. Siddharth, can you pass on to someone? Make it loud. Sorry? Yeah, up to you. I'm just gifting because she's the chairperson and I want something out of her. 3 bitcoins to Vinay. Siddharth just gave 3 bitcoins to Vinay. You can take anything for exchange. You don't have to take anything. Wait, question. Okay. Does everyone have 2 transactions?
Yes.
Yeah? Why don't you have 2 transactions? No, I gave something to Samyukta and Siddharth gave something to him. That's it. Oh yeah, true. Good one. So that the 10 bitcoins that Siddharth got, that is also a transaction. Sorry. And that is also a transaction. So does everyone have 3 transactions?
Yeah.
Can anyone at any point say how many bitcoins someone has if they backtrack it? Yeah? It takes a little while, obviously, but if you put it on a computer, it's easy. So at this point, anyone can backtrack and check how many bitcoins any person has. How many does Samyukta have?
2.
4. Yeah, correct. How many does Shreyas have?
3.
3? Yeah, it's that easy. The ledger is open for everyone to view, and anyone at any point can verify, check anyone's balance. It's just that their name is not explicit. It's a semi-autonomous code. Okay. Now I'm thinking of a number between 100 and 107. 102. You say 102? Can you verify all the transactions? Can you assure that everyone else has the same number of transactions? Yeah? Reasonably easy? Give me a block. Now, this is going to go into block number 2. And you see what's going on? There's a block. Sorry?
What if he recorded something wrong?
No, he verified it, right? We make sure that he verifies with everyone. Okay? Okay? So, the first transaction went into block number 1. The second transaction went into block number 2. You see what's going on? The blocks are forming a chain. Blockchain. Everyone clap. Yeah, the blocks are forming a chain. And at this point, say Shubham has a very powerful computer. Okay, he thinks he can crack the Bitcoin blockchain and magically gift himself 100 Bitcoins. How does one do that? I'm sure some of you have that question. How does one do that? So if Shubham wants to hack the Bitcoin blockchain, he doesn't just have to hack this block. He has to hack every single person who's having a block right now. Okay, how many of you have a block? 13? 13 and 2 here. He has to hack 15 blocks just to make sure he has a transaction. And while that is going on, you guys will keep having more transactions and will keep making more blocks. So you have 10 minutes to make another block. So if you make another block, Shubham has to stop everything that he did until then, go to the block number 3, start hacking block number 3 again. Okay, so that's the argument that goes on why a government cannot stop a Bitcoin, right? Because if you want to stop a Bitcoin, you basically just have to stop the internet. There's no other way. Okay, there's no other way. Because to stop Bitcoin, you have to hack all 51% of the computers that are using Bitcoin. It's called 51% majority attack, wherein you go to 51% computers, personally change the transaction, say so and so to his account and not the other way around. And while that's going on, another 10 minutes is going to pass and another block is going to get created, so everything that happened until that point is an absolute waste. Okay. So I'm reasonably sure everyone has a little understanding of what a blockchain is. Just a ledger, nothing else. If you really think about it, a blockchain is just a ledger. But why a blockchain? Why do we need a ledger, right? What use is a ledger going to be? You have no idea. Why? Because a ledger, a blockchain ledger, brings in decentralization of money. Meaning, for the first time in history, quite really, for the first time in history, there is no central authority controlling money supply. So no one can come and stop Bitcoin, because if you want to stop Bitcoin, you have to stop basically everyone. It's the most democratic form of currency that has ever existed. Okay? The blockchain brings in distribution of ownership. How? Since there are so many miners and since there are so many people that are getting rewards, there is no single owner really. And there's no single owner that makes sure that you get Paatshala gets Bitcoin and Ronak does it. Or there's no one that makes sure that Siddharth gets Bitcoin and maybe someone else does it. Okay, maybe Aryan does it. So there's no one can do that. It's the most distributed form of ownership. And it brings in again globalization of value, moving from the same core principles. Because for the first time in history again, we have a global currency right now. There used to be an INR, there used to be a US dollar, there used to be a Ecuadorian dollar, but it was only within their borderlines. Right now, today we have a very good global value system wherein if you want to transact with someone, say in Philippines, you can just send them Bitcoin right away. There is no single person stopping you. If you want to do that traditionally, you have to go to your bank. Your bank has to go to the RBI. RBI has to go to their central bank. Their central bank goes to the local bank, and then it reaches the Philippine businessman that you want to do business. That's how it usually used to happen. There are 6 intermediaries involved. You have to bear the cost of all 6 intermediaries, and it takes a certain amount of time, T plus 7, T plus 10 days, whatever. With Bitcoin, it's almost instant. Okay. Now, because we got this ledger, right? We got Bitcoin. That was easy to imagine. A Bitcoin-based currency wherein there is no actual coin that is going on, but just a ledger entry. A ledger entry makes sure the amount of value you have. There is no. We hear a lot of elders talking. Where is the Bitcoin? I want to see some Bitcoin. Is it in my hand? No, it's not in my hand. So it doesn't exist. No, not quite the contrary. Everything that happens in Bitcoin is basically just a ledger entry. If a ledger entry says you have 10 Bitcoins, you have 10 Bitcoins. No one can take that away from you. Unless you use the password and then you're in the news. Saying I lost 10 Bitcoins. Okay, so let's push ourselves a little forward and let's see what this ledger can help us do. Okay, blockchain technology can bring in a lot of applications on top of it if you think a little step ahead. So it can bring in tokenization of value. What do I mean by tokenization? What Shubham talked about? This NFT, right? What is it? Attire. That is a token. Basically, it's a token. It's a token that is registered as a transaction entry on a blockchain. When I make the dress for myself on Shubham's exact photo, I basically do a transaction entry on a blockchain saying this is the dress I've made for myself. This is the information about it. It's going to be red in color. It's going to have gravity. It's going to be fire all around, and that's how it's going to be. And no one can take that away from you. If that ledger entry is verified by someone, and he has got a reward, that entry is finalized. There cannot be a reverse entry. Okay? There can be automation. So I'm going to talk about Ethereum later on, which Shubham also touched on. That's going to bring in a lot of automation that some of us will have a hard time even picturing. But it's going to be so groundbreaking that it's astonishing. So blockchain can also bring in transparency. Okay, there are arguments going on that a blockchain is a very, very good form of transparency in a government. Okay, what goes on in a government is usually a limited number of people sit together, make a decision that we assume is going to be in our best interest. Sometimes it does happen in our best interest, sometimes it doesn't. But we have no way of directly contributing to it. Say someone decides, okay, let's shift our entire government on a blockchain. Like, what was that country? Ecuador? No.
El Salvador.
El Salvador, yeah. El Salvador is approaching something like that, right? It's trying to bring blockchain within their own government, which means everything is more transparent. If I want to see what my prime minister has done today, I can just log in into my government's blockchain. I can just see what are the things that he did today. If that will be in the form of ledger entries, but with a better UI, better UX, it's going to be much more easier to read for all. Okay, it also helps in improving security. Security is one of the biggest challenges that the pre-internet faced. Okay, say you are a musician, you make a song. All you ever did was just post it on YouTube. After posting it on YouTube, you have zero clue who downloaded it, who made it, who reused it, who copied it. You have no way of knowing. Okay, there's no security because of that. But with the blockchain, right? Say if I release a song and I release a song on a blockchain-based platform. If someone is downloading it, then I have exact idea of who is downloading because the download is a ledger entry. If someone is using it in their own movie, I will have an idea about it because again, that's going to be a ledger entry. There's going to be a ledger entry wherein someone uses it in that movie and they pay something back. That helps improve security. Okay, so now we're going to touch upon how, why most of you are here, how to look at a blockchain project. Because end of the day, all of us want to make money, right? So we need to know how to look at a blockchain project. It's a very new technology, it's a very new field. You cannot use the same principles that you did before. And maybe what I say is going to be obsolete tomorrow. But this is to the best of my knowledge. Okay, so what do you do when you look at a project? Say you're looking at Bitcoin, say you're looking at an Ethereum. Say someone who came and asked me what this project Helium is about. Honestly, I have no idea because 22,000 cryptocurrencies exist today, last I checked, and you cannot keep track of every single one of them. So you have to take it in your hands. You have to do something called DYOR, which is stressed by everyone in the crypto world. Do your own research. Do not believe what anyone says. Do not believe. Since I've talked about Bitcoin so much, do not go home and buy Bitcoin because the person said so. Research about it. Read the paper. Read what other people think about it. What are the uses? Go and look at the transactions. That's how you can start. Go and look at a Bitcoin transaction. There's something called the Bitcoin Explorer. Search for it. Go look at the transactions that are happening right this second. You'll be astonished. Okay? First rule is that use the same principles what you used before. What you use with stocks, what you use with bonds, what you use with debt. Look at the fundamentals. Look at the numbers. Look at how many coins there are going to be. With Bitcoin, there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. That is 2.1 crore Bitcoin. Only ever. And there are 9 crore people on the earth today. So do the math. Not everyone is going to get a whole piece. Okay? And keep in mind this following change in global infrastructure. Okay, now before we used to have a centralized world wherein one person made, or maybe a group of people made a decision and you have to agree to it, no other way. But now we're slowly, with the advent of the internet actually in 1990, we slowly are from into a society that is little more decentralized every day. So more and more people get to make the decisions that they want to make in their own life. Okay, keep in mind if that project that you're looking at is actually needed. So I read a paper the other day that someone was talking about a blockchain-based police system. And honestly, personally, I felt that is a very bad idea, right? Because you do not need a distributed police. You do not need one policeman in one street. You need a police station in an area that collectively works together for the betterment of the entire area. I think that's what I thought. That particular area did not need a blockchain. Think about it. Does the project that you're looking at, does the decentralization that it brings, is actually needed or not? Do not look for quick money schemes again. This is very important. Do not go what other people say. Do not invest in something that says immediately on the paper, on the website that it's going to give you 10x return. No, in all cases that is never going to happen. If someone is promising you that he's giving you return, that is almost sure that he's never going to give you return. Because it's a developing space. No one really knows what's going to happen. No one really knows why Bitcoin clicked at all. Even I have no idea today. I'm just fortunate enough to be a part of the issue. But say if Bitcoin did click, something else could have clicked, and someone else could have been giving the stock. Second, the project is solving problems and creating ones. Right? So if the book that I read about blockchain-based police system, as I was reading it, I could pinpoint at least 50 problems that it created than solving. Okay, it created a problem like this, it created a problem like that. So if it creates more problems than it's solving, then most of it is not good for us. So blockchain is a hammer, sure, but not everything is a nail, right? You can maybe metaverse is a really good place for a blockchain-based system because you get ownership of what you're going to do. That's good. Maybe in some other place that's not going to be as good as it says. Okay, so let's take a look at a few projects that are out there that I know some of you might have learned, some of you might have heard, but don't really know how it's going. Okay, so I promised I was going to talk about Ethereum. Shubham touched on Ethereum by talking about Vitalik Buterin, right? It was a 15-year-old prodigy that created Ethereum from his home, from his gaming computer because he was frustrated at what a game did to him. Okay, so what is Ethereum? Ethereum is the world's first smart contract platform. What do I mean by smart contract? Is that we just did this ledger entry, right? We just did this ledger entry. There was one virtual entry and one physical, wherein I gave 4 bitcoins to Ronapeya, but he physically gave me a phone. Okay, that if I give him 4 bitcoins and he doesn't give me a phone, then that's a problem that's going on. That means I'm been cheated. Okay, what happens with Ethereum is that it automates a transaction, right? Say you're a software developer, you just created a software. Today you are at the risk, if you upload a software somewhere, you are at a real good risk of someone downloading the software, changing the code a little bit so that it's free for everyone. That's what is happening today. Whatever you want to download, you just go to torrent. Because why? It's free. Why do you want to pay $100 when you can just go to torrent and download it for free? Say you're a smartphone, you're a developer. You just created a software. You created by linking it to Ethereum, right? So and say you price it at 1 Ethereum. Every time I send you 1 Ethereum, the Ethereum protocol itself will make sure that because you sent me 1 Ethereum, you get a reverse transaction. That is, you get the software immediately. So it's almost instantaneous. Say, and let me give you an example in the real world. Say you buy a stock. There's a IPO going on, and you want to buy a stock. How do you buy a stock today? You register with your sub-broker. Your sub-broker registers, talks to the broker. That broker talks to the clearing authorities, CDSL and SDL. Then they talk to the exchange. Then it happens in reverse, and that happens in 2 days, right? Say I want to issue a stock. I want to crowdfund, but I don't want to go through this process. Okay, so I'm going to crowdfund on Ethereum, wherein I'm going to ask you to give me 100,000 Ethereum in exchange for my own share, a coin, Sudarshan coin. Okay, so immediately I'm going to say I'm pricing it at 10 Ethereum per coin. As soon as you send me 10 Ethereum, you will have 1 Sudarshan coin in your wallet instantaneously. There's going to be 0 lag, and you're going to feel the ownership right away. You do not have to wait, you do not have to bear intermediary cost, and you do not have to waste your time. Hoga, nahi hoga, subscription, over subscription, nothing. It's going to be instantaneous. Next is a project called Brave. What Brave is it's the world's first browser that pays you for looking at an ad. Okay, so today if you log on to YouTube, when it started, it was 1 5-second ad. I think now it's somewhere around 3 5-second ads continuously. We're almost frustrated, like why are we looking at this ad? With Brave, you have the option of saying yes or no. If you say yes, then the ad you're looking at will actually pay you in BAT, basic attention token. This is a crypto bag. And it will pay you for looking at the ad. If you don't want to look at the ad, don't want to get paid, you have the option of saying no. So it's the world's first democratic advertising platform. Like you have a choice to look at an ad or not. There are some ad farmers that basically spend their life looking at ads because they get paid for doing nothing. So just going to the website, looking at an ad, getting paid, done. They have 0.0000 back. Next is a project called Monero. Monero is Bitcoin basically, but a very, very secure. Okay, so a Bitcoin transaction you do today can be backtracked a little bit if you follow the crumbs that you leave properly. You can backtrack it to your IP address, you can backtrack it to your wallet, to your exchange, whatever. With Monero, it uses uses something called a ring signature that obfuscates your transaction in a way that you can never know where you got your transaction from. Say I'm giving 5 Monero to Samyukta. Samyukta will never know who gave the 5 Monero to her. But she has a guarantee from the Monero blockchain saying that there's a ledger entry, it came from somewhere, it's for you. But she doesn't necessarily have to know where it is. Okay. And I think basically that's it. I'm going to take some time to introduce, to tell you guys about my company. My company is called Reverse Asset. It's a blockchain consultancy. Basically, I deal with analytical stuff, wherein I write research papers, I train staff, I train people on how to look at a blockchain, on how to approach a blockchain, how to implement a blockchain within their own ecosystem, their own company if they want to. I do one-on-ones with people who are looking to learn about blockchain but don't necessarily know how to go about it. So that's what Reverse Asset is from. I've made 2 NFT platforms. I've written around 15 papers and a lot of articles and one-on-one trainings and coachings and staff trainings wherein I teach people on how to approach a blockchain project. So these are my social media handles. You can follow me anywhere, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can reach out anytime. There's also a small Telegram group that I run. So if you want to join the Telegram group, just open your phone, scan the code, wherein you can ask me anything about about blockchain. Please do not ask me again how to make money because I will not tell you. I will probably block you. Do not do that. But you can reach out to me anytime. This is a good place. Next, you want to know what Bitcoin is, what a transaction is. You want a place to start learning about blockchain. You want to see what the applications of blockchain are going to be, how it's going to be used. Is it good for the metaverse? Is it bad for the metaverse? Whatever. Feel free to text me. Okay. And thank you guys for letting me. I hope I solved more problems than creating them. Okay. So thank you guys for listening to me.
Light on करो sorry. Light on करो. Light on.
Do you think we need a master class after just one session? The best explanation ever I ever heard. Once again, big round of applause for. So I know there will be many Q&A. Let's begin it now without wasting any time.
Feel free to ask any question. I'm open to anything except investing advice. Please don't.
Crypto is so good and blockchain is such a solid technology. Why are our governments not able to understand and why are they delaying the entire process of implementing crypto? So is it like decentralized or is there anything more than that? Why governments are not supportive to it at all and individuals are talking so much about it?
So that's a good question actually. A lot of the question I get a lot of times. Why is the Indian government specifically stopping the advent of a crypto or a blockchain? It's a simple answer and I think it's a more philosophical one, wherein you're taking the power of creating money from the hands of the government. By creating money, they, with the monetary policy and the fiscal policy, they have a hold on the economy like they can make changes like they want to. Say you take that power right away from them overnight. It's going to leave a huge gap. First of all, because we will not know how to function because the government is not directing us. Plus, you're taking away their power, which they worked so hard to bring in. So whatever the government said, the demonetization happened, right? It happened almost overnight. The government was able to do it because they had the power to do it. They just told you, whatever the green 500 note you have, stop using it. There's another green 500 note coming, use that. They did it overnight and they have the power to do that. With something like Bitcoin, you're stopping that power. You're not giving them that power. You're not giving them the ability to do that. So that's a big challenge for a government to accept.
Any other questions?
What's the underlying asset value that it has? For example, they say you file the government is probably no from the government that is getting so much they won't take any assets value. That's underlying value. Bitcoin is owned by the market every time. What's the underlying value? It can go up by 30% or something.
Because I I don't know if you heard the question. His question was, what is the underlying value of, say, specifically Bitcoin? What value does it hold? When you hold gold in your hand, you know there's gold in your hand. Or if you have a 500 rupee note, yeah, it's a promissory note from the government saying, guaranteeing that it holds value of 500. So what is the underlying value of Bitcoin? The underlying value of Bitcoin is this, the blockchain. So the security that it gives, the decentralization that it gives, the power that it gives to the masses. Say, if I want to use US dollar today and if I'm blacklisted, I will not be able to use US dollar today. But with Bitcoin, there is no such thing as a blacklisting, right? You can use Bitcoin no matter who you are. Some places it's good, some places it's bad. But that is the underlying technology itself. So if you're valuing Bitcoin at $16,000 today, or whatever expensive dollars it is today, you're valuing it because of the blockchain, of the idea, of the technology that it uses. Right? So there are 21 million Bitcoins. They are distributed among, say, 10 million people. There are 10 million people verifying the transactions. There is 10 million computers worth of security to the Bitcoin blockchain. So that is what gives it value. And when, say, you're saying 500 rupee note holds value today, right? 91% of all value today is basically a number on a ledger somewhere. Then the 9% of value is only in circulation. So 9%. Say if you own, you might be owning a crore rupees, right? Do you have a crore rupees worth of notes? No. You have 5,000, 10,000 worth. Like everything else is a number on your phone. You open your bank, it's a number on your phone saying you have 1 crore rupees. That is what it is today. You have value because someone is noting that value. Say if I want to take that 1 crore rupees from you, all I ever have to do is say this is Paytm. I just go to Paytm's computer, put in a transaction saying 1 crore from you to me. What Paytm does for security is they just use firewalls, they hire people, they make sure no one is able to hack the system. But given the property of large numbers, someone will hack the system one day. With respect to blockchain, you have to hack this one, and everyone else. So that's the underlying security that it gives. That is what gives it value. Okay, I hope I answered your question. It's not necessary that something has to be tangible or something has to be in your hand to have value. Like for example, what Shubham is building at is diets have value, but you do not have them in the real world. You cannot open your cupboard and wear a fire dress because that's not how it exists.
Can you explain what there's a transaction between the two?
You guys want to?
When there's a transaction between the two, how do you verify?
Okay. Okay, so it's a little bit technical, but since he asked me, I'm going to go for it. Say Rishabh is sending me 5 Bitcoin, right? Use Rishabh's wallet ID, use my wallet ID, use the transaction information, and there's something called as hashing in cryptography, where you take a word and you hash it, right? And when you hash it, you get a totally different word. Okay, with the totally different word, you cannot backtrack to the first word, but you get a guarantee that this word is linked to this word. That hash is sent to the miner. The miner, in reverse, tries to verify the transaction, tries to break the hash, and tries to see if Rishabh actually sent 5 Bitcoins to me. If Rishabh's wallet has 5 Bitcoins, do I have a good wallet that can accept 5 Bitcoins? Am I flagged? Am I not flagged? There are a couple of protocols that you have to go through. That is how a transaction is verified. Okay, and everyone at any given point verifies a transaction because the Bitcoin Core software mandates them to do so. The miner gets a reward for guessing the right number. That's it.
While crypto is decentralized, there is a lot of centralization in terms of exchanges. So if you hold your crypto on an exchange, the exchange controls your crypto unless it's a physical hardware wallet. So can you explain what went wrong with FTX specifically?
So I told you guys about DYOR. DYOR is a do your own research. That's what everyone in the crypto community keeps saying. There's another saying that we keep saying. It's called not your keys, not your crypto. Say you use an exchange like Binance, like FTX, like WhatIs, that's famous in India. You're basically trusting them to hold your crypto for you. It's basically a bank. You give your bank some form of money and you trust the bank to not stop functioning tomorrow. That's what you do with an exchange. So not your keys, not your crypto is a very good saying in the sense that say you have 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, you don't mind using that, keep it in exchange. So you have a big value, do not keep it on an exchange. There is something called as a hardware wallet, which is basically a USB stick that you can carry around with yourself, where you can store your crypto. Or even safer is something called as a paper wallet, wherein you just write down your mnemonic phrase, that is your own password to your wallet in a paper, and lock it somewhere. That's it. That's one of the most safest ways to store crypto. So coming to your question, what happened with FTX is that it's a centralization problem that we see everywhere. Someone with a lot of power tried to do something under the table. Someone looked under the table and they found out what he was doing. Okay, so FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, was the guy who founded FTX. So before FTX, he started something called Almeida Research. It's a research firm. He said it was a research firm, but he used people's money to speculate on the market, and he did really well actually. That made him a billionaire overnight. He used Almeida Research, he traded on the market, and in the 2017 bull run, he made quite a big amount of money. What he did with that money is he started something called FTX. FTX was an exchange wherein you can buy and sell crypto, whatever like Binance. You can buy derivatives, you can short the market, you can long the market, everything that a normal exchange provides. You can go and do that. So the money that was deposited into FTX, right? SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, he used the money, he gave it to his own other company, which was run by his girlfriend, called Almeida Research. Almeida Research used that money to stake it in the market. There's something called a staking, wherein you stake your money to be used for a cause, and you get something else in return. So he staked whatever money that he had with Almeida, and Almeida gave him US dollars in return. He used US dollars again to speculate in the market. Okay, and by using those US dollars, he was unfortunate enough to lose all the money that he had, and because he lost all the money that he had, the FTX that was staked had no value because he wasn't able to pay back to get the FTX. So it was a full circle that came to an end. People found out about it. People found that FTX had no value because SBF was creating FTX cryptocurrency out of the blue, giving it to Almeida, staking it, getting US dollars in return, using it in the market, losing it, creating FTX out of nowhere, so giving it to Almeida, staking it, getting US dollars back in return, thinking he'll earn the US dollars that he lost, but then he lost that quickly. And it kept happening again and again and again. Eventually, the whole cycle was good. Anything else? Yes?
What happens when you lose your password or forget your page? Is it all gone?
It's all gone. Sorry. there is really nothing you can do about it. So let me take this time to tell you, when you make a wallet, right, you're given a 12-digit or a 24 or 12-word or a 24-word mnemonic code. What a mnemonic code is basically a string of words. Car, bag, umbrella, sugar, Sudarshan, box. There's a 12-word string. You're given that. Make sure you protect those 12 words with your life. Okay, keep it somewhere safe, keep it near your heart, keep it under your pillow, wherever you think that no one is going to see that 12 words. Because if someone else catches hold of those 12 words, they can log into the wallet, take everything that you want. Say you lose those 12 words and you also lose your wallet, there is really nothing you can do about it. It's like water under the drain. Those cryptos are lost. And because you lost those cryptos, you increase the value of the currency because there are fewer bitcoins right now. So if someone loses 10,000 bitcoins, there are fewer bitcoins in the market, which means the people who are holding bitcoin see an upward pressure in price because there is limited supply. Anyone? Sorry? Create a paper wallet. As I said, write those 12 words in a paper, store it in a block.
How to create a wallet?
How to create a wallet? Okay, so there are a lot of wallet providers in the market. You can go to the App Store, just search for Bitcoin wallet. Whichever one has the most reviews, has the most stars, is probably safe enough. You can go for it. It will give you, if it gives you a 12-word code, then it is a good wallet. It will not have ownership of it. You will have ownership of it. So even if you lose that phone, or you break that phone, if you have that 12 words, you can use another phone. You enter those 12 words and you get your wallet back. Sorry?
An example of a wallet.
An example wallet.
Trust wallet is good.
Sorry?
Trust wallet is good.
A trust wallet is good. There's something called as Jax, which I've been using since 2015 and I just didn't change it. So I'm pretty sure there are hundreds of new wallets right now. I'm not in touch because all we ever need is those 12 words, right? It doesn't matter what a wallet is. You need just those 12 words. Jack doesn't work, go to another wallet. Trust wallet, as I said, enter those 12 words and it works the same. There's literally no difference. So it doesn't matter what the wallet is, unless, as long as it's giving you ownership of your coin. If it's giving you those 12 words that you can store, then it's giving you ownership of your coin.
So making money over computer, government don't know how to make it or like.
Okay, again, that is a big myth when people say that you use crypto for black transactions because it is literally not possible. If someone has your wallet ID, they can just log on Bitcoin Explorer, put your wallet ID in, see your entire transaction history. Okay, so when you say you're using Bitcoin to hide from the government, maybe you're hiding it today because the IT people in the government are like 60 years old and they don't know how to use a Bitcoin Explorer. Tomorrow it's going to be a 19-year-old IT security prodigy that is going to come, is going to find your wallet ID very easily. Is going to enter that wallet ID and see that you have 10,000 Bitcoins that you did not account for. It's that easy. Again, as I told him, you're taking the power of money from the hands of the government. If you use Bitcoin, you're using an entirely new form of economy. You're not in the INR economy, you're in the Bitcoin economy, you function in the Bitcoin economy, you trade in the Bitcoin economy, you do business in the Bitcoin economy. So government has no say in what you do in the Bitcoin economy and it for some reason offends them. Like anyone would. If I take power from you, you worked hard to get that power and I'm just going to come overnight and going to grab some power from you. You're going to be offended as well. That's why the bottlenecks are there. That's why the government stops you. That's why the government has tried to ban Bitcoin. Indian government has tried to ban Bitcoin for 21 times. They've come out with PR releases that say we're banning Bitcoin 21 times, but I'm still here, I'm still talking about it, I still made my money out of it, and I'm still paying taxes. So there's no say.
But that's why you have privacy coins.
Yeah, true. That's why we have privacy coins, Mary. You can do that. But again, it's not hard to get your wallet ID. If someone is really trying, you won't succeed, someone will. It's not that hard. Yeah. Yeah. It's stored on. So it's stored on your computer, on Sanket's computer, on Samyukta's computer, on Shreyan's computer, on his computer, on his computer, everyone's computer. So if you want to change that information, you've got to change that information in everyone's computer. That's why it's decentralized, that's why there's increased security. Because the more computers, the more harder to crack them. So if you make a transaction, I'm making a transaction, it obligates me to send that transaction to everyone. You don't have to do it manually because the software takes care of it for you, but that is what happens in the backend. If I make a transaction, I just send to everyone, and everyone makes it a point to note it in their ledger. Anything else, guys? I'm sure I bored a lot of you.
How many Bitcoins do you own?
0. I do not own Bitcoin. The first time I bought Bitcoin was at $24,000 rupees, 2015. I sold it at 28,000 rupees. I was so happy. I gave all my roommates a party. Bro, I got 4,000 rupees. Let's go for a party. I was wrong back then because it took me a while to understand what Bitcoin is. But yeah, I learned the technology rather than owning the coin. That's where it helped me accumulate something other than Bitcoin.
So can you know who all owns Bitcoin?
Sorry?
Can you know who is the one owning Bitcoin right now? Like who owns how much? If I have, or say you have Bitcoin, can I know that?
Yeah, you just have to know my wallet ID. If you know my wallet ID, say if I transact with you once, you will know my wallet ID.
Without doing any transaction.
No, then that's why it's semi-autonomous.
So how will the income tax person find you?
That's what it takes some time, but it won't take long enough time to find your wallet ID. Because it will be linked somewhere. You're going to use WhatIs to transfer from WhatIs to your wallet. WhatIs is reporting everything to the government. Easy. I'll
Ask
tell you
your
what it
PAN
is.
number for registration.
Yeah, it's like a PAN number. You can use privacy coins, you can use this, you can use that, you can use something called as a coin tumbler that often gets your records, but it will take time. One day you will make a mistake, your wallet ID will be seen somewhere ever. Anything else, guys? Can I bore you more? Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for giving me Thank you to everyone for coming here. Good evening.
Okay, before we guys go to the most important event of the day, that is food, we have our most special guest with us here, Mr. Pratik. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming Sunday afternoon. Blockchain is a very interesting technology. I do believe in blockchain, cryptocurrency. I hope, I know it's the future. It's just that people are not realizing it. The governments are using it as much as possible because they don't understand very well. So that's the latest thing in the currency. Like after credit card, we haven't had much of innovation in terms of currency. So yeah, welcome to Executive Zone. I hope you like it. See you soon again. Anything else? Yeah. No, thank you so much. It has been nice.
Thank you so much.
JITO, you will always welcome you. Yeah, this is my company. I started 4 years back, so I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have another company, and I started this co-working space. So yeah, we have a couple of floors in this building. This is one of these floors which you are seeing. So yeah, hope you like it. Thank you so much.
Mr. Shubham Jain, please. ED, HRD, subcommittee, all the members, please come to the podium.
Yeah, we'll take a picture like that. Keep sitting. Take a picture like this.
Switch on the lights in the back. हो गया